presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are the West.
As Josh Hamilton was having one of the best weeks in baseball history, Nelson Cruz was quietly finding his hitting stroke and now seems poised to regain the form that made him one of the most feared hitters in the American League. It now looks like all the cylinders are beginning to fire as the Rangers take on the Royals next. After taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels, the Rangers homestand continues with the first of 2 games against the Kansas City Royals. And we welcome you, Dave Barnett, along with Grieve, a Kansas City team that had a very slow start, starting to come around, and fortunately, Tom, for the Rangers, that also describes Nelson Cruz.
It really does, Dave. You know, Nelly's batting average for around 100 at bats was hovering in the upper to lower 200s, and we all said it was just a matter of time before he got hot, and that started to happen in his last 28 at bats. He's had 14 hits. He's driving the ball to right center field, and he had the big grand slam against Jared Weaver that turned that game around.
Maybe the key hit of the series. Scott Feldman tonight in a spot start. He will oppose Bruce Chen of the Royals as the series will get underway with the lineups and the first pitch when we return to the ballpark. Back at the ballpark, with the Rangers yet to take the field. Let's go down to the field, though, and welcome Emily Jones.
Well, guys, to the surprise of absolutely no one, Josh Hamilton named the American League Player of the Week. That is what, batting .467 with 9 home runs and 18 RBIs.
You don't play to receive awards or get recognition. You play to help your team win. So if I'm playing to help my team win and good things happen, then I'm excited about that.
Josh Hamilton with tonight's Geico quote of the game, and he actually hadn't gotten the official word until he did interviews today in the clubhouse. So I actually got to be the bearer of good news, and I said, Josh, are you surprised at all? You know, kidding. And he looked straight at me and said, are you surprised? And I said, no, of course I'm not. I don't think anyone is surprised.
No, the only surprise would have been if anybody else even got a vote, much less won the actual award. I guess a little surprising, it's only the second time he's ever been American League Player of the Week. But Scott Feldman ready to take the mound as a starter for the second time this year. And here's the lineup he will face. It'll begin with Gerard Dyson leading off in center field. Eric Hosmer off to an awful start, batting second at first. Billy Butler is the DH. Alex Gordon bats cleanup and plays a Gold Glove caliber left field. Former Ranger Jeff Francoeur is in right. Mike Moustakas in third. The catcher is Brian Pena. Chris Getz batting 8th at second, and batting 9th is the shortstop Alcides Escobar.
Scott Feldman will be making his second spot start of the year. He had one back on April 25th against the Yankees. His ERA is .435. He pitched 3 1/3 through 62 pitches in that start against the Yankees. And then on May 2nd at Toronto, he had a long relief outing where he threw 57 pitches. So he's been stretched out far enough to probably throw 75 pitches tonight. If Scott keeps that pitch count down, might be enough to get him through 5 innings, and hopefully that'll be the case. He's pitched well against Kansas City in his career, although there's a lot of new names on the Kansas City roster right now.
Here is the Ranger defense for tonight. Hamilton is in left, Gentry in center, and Cruz in right, with Beltre, Andrus Gonzalez giving Ian Kinsler a day off. Michael Young at first, with Yorvi Torrealba returning after taking that bat from Albert Pujols off the head Friday night. There's Mike Everett behind the plate with Paul Schreiber at first. Crew chief Tim Welke at second. Laz Diaz at third. And we are set to go. Scott Feldman's second start, his first was April 25th against the Yankees. And he faces Dyson, who has been excellent at the top of the order at getting on base, which is, of course, job one for the leadoff hitter. .469 on base percentage over the last week. 80 degrees, very pleasant tonight. A little bit of a jet stream, maybe more wind than was in the forecast. Not howling, but it is blowing out. Very rare concurrence of vents from the northwest at 11 miles an hour.
Yeah, the traditional jet stream shows the flags blowing straight in. With the flags blowing like that, we'll have to see how it affects the flight of the ball.
Probably not very much. And Dyson keeps that on base percentage up by working a leadoff walk.
Yeah, that's not the guy you want to walk. Dyson's an excellent base stealer. Last year, between Double-A and the big leagues, he stole 49 out of 52 bases, so he can really run. And he's a guy you want to keep off the bases, or at least make him hit his way on the bases.
So here is the struggling first baseman Eric Hosmer, batting just .180.
Hosmer was hitting third last year for the Royals while he was in the big leagues, and that was for an extended stint. Started off third this year, but he struggled to the point where they're going to move him up to second. Hope he sees a couple of extra fastballs to hit. See if he can't get untracked batting second in the lineup. And he's a young kid with immense potential. Last year in the big leagues, he hit .293, hit 19 home runs.
Yeah, ended up third in the balloting for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it was the kind of year that would be good enough to win it in some years.
There goes Dyson. Here's the throw by Torrealba, and it is not in time. Andrews arguing that Dyson lost contact with the bag, but Tim Welke not agreeing with him. Although pretty close. Really hooked himself around Elvis's ankle.
He comes. He's out.
Actually, he is out. Great angle right there. He sure is.
Slid past Elvis's leg
Right
and
there.
brings his other hand around, but technically he was out. Couldn't see it when it happened, but Elvis had it called.
So a break for Dyson, and his fourth stolen base. Break for the Royals as Hosmer waits for the 2-0 pitch. When Hosmer actually puts a ball in play, his average is only .171, and that is the lowest in the majors.
Well, that tells you he's hitting in some bad luck too. Just if he keeps swinging the bat the exact same way, he's going to do better than he is now. Just with a little bit of luck, having some balls fall in.
Talking about the awards for Hamilton, Hosmer won American League Rookie of the Month twice last year, July and again in September. He's not found that stroke yet this year. Third overall pick in the draft, 2008, out of high school in the Miami area. And
Kansas City has 4 #1 draft choices, high #1 draft choices in their lineup. In addition to Hosmer, they've got Butler, Gordon, and Moustakas. So this is a young team, building team, and they expect to start seeing results as this season goes on and into next year and the year after that.
9 pitches, only 2 strikes so far from Feldman. He gets a roller here to Alberto Gonzalez at second, but that will advance Dyson. So he's now at third with 1 out for Billy Butler. And Butler is having a good start. Despite just going 2 for 12 over the weekend at Chicago, he's at .285 and 6 homers and Their leader with 25 RBIs as well.
He's a good hitter. He hits for average. Hasn't had a huge home run year yet. He might, though. But he's good for 45 to 50 doubles over the last 3 years every season. Hits the ball to all fields. Just a good hitter. He's played a little bit of first base, but basically he was drafted out of high school with the idea that he might be a DH, which is kind of unusual. But he's a good one.
A doubles machine. 1 ball and 1 strike. One thing that Butler has done very well this year, in fact, right at the top of the league along with Josh Hamilton, and that is 9 go-ahead RBIs. Great chance here with Dyson at third, only 1 out. Alex Gordon will be next. Chopper flag down, and they've got Dyson in a rundown. Torrealba chases him back toward third. And now Beltre with a pump fake gets him to stop long enough to be tagged out for a huge out number 2.
Now, it's probably too many throws for the rundown, but you've got a kid like Dyson in the rundown. He causes a little bit of a problem for the infielders because he's so shifty and quick. Fortunately, Butler is the one that hit the ball, and throughout this rundown, Butler stays at first, can't get to second base, so even though it took a few throws to run down Dyson, the Rangers get the job done. I think Dyson obviously thought that ball was going to go over Feldman's head, but at 6'5" or 6'6", whatever Scott is, it didn't quite get over his head.
1-5-2-5. 2 outs. Butler at first for Alex Gordon. And the pitch Scott has been looking for. First pitch strike. Gordon's second overall pick in the draft out of Nebraska, 2005.
Gordon had a big year last year. He did a lot of it as the leadoff hitter. Ned Yost has kind of shaken the lineup up a little bit. Moved Hosmer down to second. Gordon in the middle of the lineup. The lineup has the potential to score runs. They've got some good hitters in their lineup. Good young hitters.
Strike call for Mike Everett, and it's 1-2.
Good sinker.
Good pitcher's call.
Good pitcher's call, and a tough ball for the hitter to hit.
Nice block by Torrealba. Kept it in front. Kept Butler at first.
Yeah, this was not an easy ball to block either. This ball bounces way out in front of him. When you throw a breaking ball like that, it bounces back to the right. It's going from right to left, but with the spin, when it hits the ground, it bounces back the other way. The catcher knows that, and so he positions himself appropriately to be able to block it. Spin causes it to bounce that way.
2-2 pitch in the air to left field. Hamilton trotting back, still going back, has to reach up as he arrives on the warning track. But that takes care of a scoreless Royals first. They get a man at third, get him caught in the rundown. Andrews leads off the Ranger first.
The Rangers close their series with the Royals. Watch it on Fox Sports Southwest.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Ford dealer and drive the 2012 F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. A very different-looking Ron Washington lineup tonight. We'll have Elvis Andrus leading off, Michael Young batting second and playing first, Josh Hamilton batting third, Beltre clean up and playing third, With Cruz moved up to 5, Yorvi Torrealba behind the plate. Brandon Snyder batting 7th as the DH. Alberto Gonzalez at 2nd, batting 8th, giving Ian Kinsley the day off. And Craig Gentry in center and batting 9th against Bruce Chen. And the Nissan scouting report for Chen.
Well, Chen's pitched okay. 5 of his 7 starts have been 3 earned runs or less. He's gotten knocked around in a couple of them. He doesn't walk many, but he does give up some home runs to the Rangers. He's not a hard thrower. His fastball is mid-80s, but he varies the delivery, sidearm occasionally. Throws a lot of off-speed pitches, and he depends on excellent command of his pitches. Otherwise, he can get into a lot of trouble, especially against this lineup.
And at the top of the lineup is the hot hitter for the month of May in the American League. Yes, even hotter for the month than Josh. 440 average. 2-2. And Elvis with a career best and major league best 31 game streak of reaching base. Up to 6th in the league at 328. Uncharted territory for Elvis Andrus.
Well, Chen really knows how to pitch. He's been around for a long time. He's played for a lot of different teams. The last 2 years with Kansas City, he's gone 12-8 and 12-7, and his combined ERA is under 4. So those are pretty good numbers on a lower division team for a guy that doesn't throw very hard, which tells you he must know how to pitch very well.
Usually needs calls like that. If he's got a real hitter's umpire in a small strike zone, that definitely works against him. Also working against him, very little run support. This one hit well to right center field. Dyson on the track, back to the wall, hauls that one in. As we look at the rest of the Royal defense, down near the bottom of the American League, Gordon in left, Francoeur in right, with Moustakas, Escobar, Getz, and Hosmer the infield, and the veteran Brian Pena is the catching. So a long first out. And here is Michael Young. Not batting 4th or 5th, but 2nd. Elvis called into leadoff duty tonight.
That's something Chen is going to probably want to be able to do tonight. That's keep the Rangers from hitting the ball in the air on the good part of the bat. And you know, with the little jet stream, that ball would have shot right out of here. But not much wind now, and what wind there is not blowing in that direction.
Yeah, that was a good test right there. Wind blowing out, any help? No, not to Elvis. Two balls and a strike to Michael. At 289. It's actually his lowest in a little over a month. But he hits Kansas City pitching very well. And he sends that one out to Dyson. 2 outs in right center field for Bruce Chen. And now you can probably already tell who's making his way out. AL Player of the Week for just the 2nd time. He shared it the other time he won it with Colby Lewis back in 2010.
He's only been Player of the Week twice. He won Player of the Month.
Yeah.
Back-to-back months. It shows you winning Player of the Week's a little more random than winning Player of the Month. Player of the Month, you have to do it for 125 at bats. Player of the Week, basically all you have to do is get hot.
There goes the bat. Looked like the fans down there were ready for it, and nobody got hurt.
Well, it's a good thing the other bat went to the Hall of Fame before Josh let it go into the stands.
Might never have seen it again. Folks down there should be accustomed to the sight of that really gigging toward them at this point. He's ready to put it to use. Same stuff. Every pitch so far from Bruce Chen, looking pretty much like every other pitch, but Josh waves at this one.
Big slow curveball at 66 miles an hour. Asking for trouble there, though.
85-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's like you can't leave well enough alone throwing the slow curveballs. Pitchers just feel like they have to try to sneak that fastball in there, and he got away with it. He fouled it off.
And Hamilton letting that one go by. He's now seen it.
It wouldn't have been the first time that Josh saw a bunch of curveballs and one fastball and launched that one fastball that he saw.
The numbers last week for Hamilton: 467, 9 homers, 18 runs batted in, and he scored 10 runs. There was one man in the Kansas City lineup who has more RBIs than that for the entire season, and that is Butler, and that is ball 4.
Well, that's a good job of pitching right there by Chen. Got some strikes on him, but didn't make a mistake to him that Josh could hammer.
8-pitch at bat. And here is Beltre.
But what the pitcher faces, especially a left-hand pitcher, when you walk Josh, when you don't pitch to Josh, is you get Adrian.
Same pitches Josh saw Adrian Beltre sees on that first offering, but down around his shoes. Beltre with a 4-game hitting streak as that finds the corner. Scoring change from Thursday cost him, otherwise would have a 7-game streak. Playing third for just the 3rd time in his last 9 starts. DHing the rest of those games. And a high foul pop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But for Beltre, his 28th start on the season, and DHing or at third base, just having him in the lineup is the value. The Rangers are 21-6 when Beltre starts. 2-6 when he doesn't. Even the games where he comes off the bench, as he did to win a game in the 11th inning on the road trip in Cleveland.
Adrian just discovered something about his bat that he didn't like. Might have cracked it.
So this one with the proper rubbing up now, ready for duty. He had a great year last year against Kansas City. Hit .344, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. These teams didn't see each other that much. Lays off that low breaking ball. 2-2. Rangers, in taking the series over the Angels, have won 2 straight series after they had lost the previous 3. 3-4 in Baltimore.
Dave, you're talking about the lineup changes that the Rangers have made. They're right in the middle of a stretch where they played 20 straight games, and during that stretch already we've had a trip to Toronto where we ended up getting in at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, a trip back home to Baltimore where we got in at 2:30 or 3:30. So it hasn't been easy travel 20 straight days. So Ron will try to get all the guys a day off whenever he can.
Hammered through the hole, base hit. So officially 5-game hitting streak now for Beltre, and 2 reach after the first 2 were retired. Long first inning for Bruce Chen, already at 25 pitches.
And was probably pretty fortunate that that was a hard hit base hit instead of one that Adrian got up in the air and made it 2-0, because that was a mid-80s fastball right down the center square.
So with 2 on now, here is another Ranger bat heating up. As we discussed, Nelson Cruz hitting .500 in his last 7 games. Hitless in only one of those 7. And the first curve drops in for a strike. Ron Washington saying before the game that even as hot as he is going to get an Elliott break at some point. Not sure yet when. Hope it's this week, as he could still use a mental break as good as he feels physically.
Yeah, the good part about it is that Nelly Cruz's legs have been fine, and he's been able to play every day. He looks great. He's hot right now. Probably doesn't want to take a day off either.
He's said that too. He knows that at some point he will. Ian Kinsler asked about his day off before the game. Said that, yeah, you know, later on in the year it does help, and that's the whole purpose. Keep guys from feeling the burnout August and September. Hard hit, but well foul and well back into the club section.
And the guys that have gotten an opportunity to play when regulars get an off day, players like Alberto Gonzalez or Brandon Snyder, have taken advantage of it. Brandon's had a couple of big offensive games to help the team. Alberto's played steady defensively, so it's good for the extra men too to keep them involved too.
Jim comes in on him and strikes him out.
Snuck a 87-mile-an-hour fastball by him.
So no runs on a hit. 2 left, and we're scoreless after 1.
Ranger fans, this is the Fan Express. It's the best way to arrive to a Rangers game in style. Log on to foxsportssouthwest.com to find out how you can get on board and get a free VIP ride. And we'll be sure to see you at the ballpark.
0-0 in the second, and it is time to welcome Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Dave. How about Nelson Cruz? Foul ball came right here, and Ethan got it. Hold it up high, Ethan, with pride. There you go, big guy. They love that. Community Corner tonight, we're talking about Ian Kinsler and the rest of the Texas Rangers. They play a big part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation here in North Texas. Recently, Sam, Make-A-Wish kid, granted his wish. That is to watch the space shuttle launch. He did that. Ian has now teamed up with Sam in a PSA. To find out more about this, go to ntx.wish.org. Dave?
All right, Noxie, and Ian spent some time promoting the Make-A-Wish operation this afternoon before the game. Something he feels very strongly about. No balls and 2 strikes to Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur. And the first pitch honors went to a member of the Make-A-Wish program with appropriately Ian behind the plate.
Pretty good throw from the top of the mound.
Sure was. Lots of adults don't throw from that far that well. Ian, year before last year, of course, same team with Jeff Francoeur. Yesterday hit his first home run. After 129 at-bats in 32 games, the second longest homer drought in Jeff's career since last September 23rd, which he also hit in Chicago. This one grounded toward the hole. Backhand pitch, jump throw, Andrews. Not quite in time.
Well, it was a beautiful play, and he almost got him. A little too far in the hole. But even from that distance and jumping, Elvis is still able to get a little something on the ball and all the way across the diamond. Nice try.
Jeff Francoeur can run. Got a lot of football offers out of college. Clemson, Florida State, Notre Dame, Georgia. The top safeties in the country. And still just 28. So 1 on, and here's Mike Moustakas, the third baseman. And Feldman still searching for the zone a little bit. 25 pitches, 12 strikes.
Yeah, what Ron Washington is hoping is that he can get some double plays, have some quick innings, and pitch fairly deep into the game. He is the long man, and he's in the game, which means there's only 6 relievers out there right now, and you hate to use them all today.
There is some rust involved, probably. Last worked Tuesday an inning in Baltimore in that 4-homer game. To right center, and Gentry cruises over. But tagging halfway or so, Francoeur, until he sees the arm of Gentry and retreats.
Yeah, every Ranger outfielder can throw, and they will throw you out, and they don't get lackadaisical, and they don't lob the ball in, so you can't take advantage of a mental lapse among the Ranger outfielders. Now they're human, they're going to make an error every now and then, but they get in position to throw, and they all throw well. And unless you have a pretty good shot at getting the next base, they will throw you out.
And if anybody should recognize a good arm, Jeff Francoeur should. So he stays at first for Brian Pena. And Feldman taking a little too long for Pena. In the lineup for the first time in a while. He didn't play at all in the weekend series in Chicago, but if you wonder why, he hit 3 home runs last year. They were all 3-run shots, and they were all here. That was it for homers for the season. Francoeur going. The throw is there in time.
You can't throw it any better than that. Not a simple ball to throw either. It was a pitch down and in. Jorvik has to reach for this ball. It's a hit and run, it looked like. But boy, does he throw it right on the bag to get Francoeur. What a beautiful throw.
Comes down his 4th would-be base stealer out of 10 who have tried it.
That'll help your pitch count too. A changeup from Scott right there. See how far out in front of it Pena was.
That one gets away. 1-2. $18 pitches in the first inning. This will be just the 13th of this inning. Guy with a history picking on the Rangers. And loops that one into left field, but Hamilton comes in for the grab. No runs on a hit. A 13-pitch inning. Handy for Scott Feldman tonight.
Get the inside track on the Rangers.
Every week, Rangers Insider has you covered.
The next Bluebell Ice Cream Sundae at Rangers Ballpark is May 27th when the Rangers take on the Blue Jays at 2:05. In addition to $1 ice cream, first 10,000 kids 13 and under will receive a white Cruise jersey, compliments of Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. And Jorvi Torrealba to lead off the bottom half of the second after a good top half for him. Really should have been credited for throwing out his second base stealer, because as the replays showed, Andrus really did tag out Gerard Dyson, who slid briefly off the bag out of view of Tim Welke. But he got Francoeur, and he'll be followed here by Snyder and Gonzalez. Jorvi's first action since Friday. And a broken bat foul ball. Friday took the follow through of a Pujols swing off the side of his head, left with a head contusion. And Mike Napoli did yeoman work behind the plate for the entire Angels series. For that, some signs that Torrealba's bat was coming around. He had 3 hits in game 1 of the doubleheader Thursday in Baltimore, including a couple of doubles. Line right into the glove of Mike Moustakas. And with 1 away, the Ranger DH, who tonight is Brandon Snyder. Remember, is really pumped up on the road trip. A week ago tonight, he had his 6th RBI game back in Baltimore, the team that drafted him.
One of the other games he got to start earlier, he had 3 hits in a game. He's made the most out of his opportunities.
Game Monday, he had 5 career runs batted in coming in and left it with 11. Pops this one up on the right side. And the second baseman gets out into short right for out number 2. Bruce Chen, after throwing 29 pitches in the first, needing only 4 pitches actually to get through the first 2 Ranger batters in the second. Brings up Alberto Gonzalez in his 8th start, his first at second base. He's had 5 at third. Beltre on the man, 2 at short. He has played defensively as a replacement at second. First time he's in the lineup. And trying to end an 0 for 15. One and 2. Washington called it a straight day off for Ian, meaning don't look for him unless he is really needed. So if the game goes extra innings to be pressed into duty tonight. Full day off the feet. Slap foul right in front of Gary Pettis.
The Rangers have a lot of guys on the bench that can help you win a game. Napoli, Kinsler, Moreland, and Murphy. And if it gets late in the game and the Rangers have a chance to win a close game, Ron Washington will use those 4 guys however he needs to use them to win a game.
Flag down by Getz, but the throw not in time.
Well, that was a great play. Getz went a long way. Ball wasn't hit hard. That's why he could get to it. But he had to sprint a long way to get it, turn all the way around, and he makes an accurate throw. It's a really athletic play by Getz. A lot like the play Elvis made as far as the result goes. Beautiful play, missed by about a step.
Proper call by Paul Schreiber. Gets with all his momentum going out to right, still firing a strike, but Gonzalez able to end the 0 for 15 slump and get Craig Gentry at bat. Gentry started 2 of the 3 games against LA, both the C.J. Wilson starts. Friday night at his 4th career 3-hit game. You talk about another guy whose bat has been sizzling of late. He's up to 320. Last 18 games for Gentry, 364. That after he started the year 0 for 9. And Tom, you look at the Ranger bench and the bats available tonight. Napoli, Kinsler, Murphy, and Moreland. How many teams would like to have those 4 every day plugged in? Two balls and no strikes. Bruce would be next. It's the Rangers' 5th shot at getting to 12 games over 500. They won tonight. They're 24-12. And another line drive out. 2 of those this inning. That one right at Escobar. So no runs on the infield hit in a 12-pitch inning for Bruce Chen. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Geico Insurance. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway MPG. And by Ace Cash Express, earning your trust since 1968. 3rd inning, and the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in Ned Yost's lineup. Chris Getz takes the high curve, batting .294. No homers, 6 runs batted in. Alcides Escobar next, and then back up to Jarrod Dyson. Feldman falls behind 3 balls and no strikes. He now has thrown 18 balls against 16 strikes through his first 8 hitters. Feldman back though to a full count. And this time it's the Rangers who catch a line drive right into the glove of Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, that was a little bit harder hit, a little bit tougher play. Quick as a cat, though. You hit it at Adrian. If he can get his glove on it, he will. It's close enough to him. It's a hard hit ball, too. Good job by Scott coming back from a 3-0 count.
And he has retired 3 straight now. 5 of the last 6. Here is Alcides Escobar, who went 3 for 3 with a couple of walks. Reached all 5 plate appearances yesterday in Chicago. Scored twice, drove in 1. And he has hit in 7 of his last 8 at a .370 clip. First pitch ball now to 6 of the 9 hitters for Feldman. Escobar over from Milwaukee December of 2010 in the Zach Greinke trade. Had a 4-year extension signed in March through 2017.
He's a very good defensive player, a blossoming offensive player. Hit .250 last year, but he's off to a pretty good start offensively this year. But he really plays shortstop. 25 years old, one of the building blocks, hopefully, in Kansas City's eyes.
That one froze Gentry for just a second. Then he got the read and came in to make the grab for out number 2. Ranger fan, Chevy is proud to present a new show called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday, 10 a.m. here on Fox Sports Southwest, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Not a sellout tonight, but an excellent Monday night crowd.
Yeah, when you consider Monday night and it's Kansas City, not a huge draw. We've got to be close to 40,000.
They're still coming in, I think.
Yeah, great Monday crowd. That's his best bolt right there.
And Gentry handles the last 2 outs in a 12-pitch inning. Feldman gets the Royals in order for the first time.
just keeps getting better.
Swung on and belted. Deep left field. It is history.
The Texas Rangers win the pennant.
May 30th, don't miss Dollar Hot Dog Night when we play Seattle.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Mooyah. Play the How Do You Mooyah instant win game, and you could win a $1,000 Mooyah gift card. As the Rangers bat here in the third inning, and both Scott Feldman and Bruce Chen, threw a lot of pitches first go round and starting to round into their command, it looks like.
Yeah, and Bruce Chen is the epitome of a crafty left-hander, soft tosser. But because of his off-speed pitches and slow curveballs that he throws, that 87-mile-an-hour fastball, when he throws it inside to the right-hand hitter, pretty good pitch. That's what he got the strikeout with a couple of men on to Nelly Cruz. Looks a lot faster than 87 when you combine it with all the soft stuff he throws.
One and one to Elvis, who flied to center after working a full count, leading off the Ranger first. This one is headed up the alley. Dyson gets there and runs it down.
Boy, he closed on that ball like there was nothing to it. Off the bat, I think everybody in the stadium saw a double. But Dyson could fly out in center field. He ran it down easily. Two well-hit balls for Elvis. He drove one to the warning track in front of the Ranger bullpen and hits that line shot almost to the warning track at the 404 sign.
He's actually slowing down to get there. That's such a great jump. So a long first out and a slow curve for a first strike to Michael Young. He also flied out to Dyson in the first.
A couple of birthday wishes to mention today. Janet Forer has a birthday today. Her husband Robert is one of our cameramen. He wouldn't tell me how old Janet was. He thought she might be 22. So happy birthday, Janet. And also Mary Jennings. There's Robert. Mary Jennings of Fort Worth is 92 years old today. Her family wanted to take her out to dinner. She wouldn't go because she doesn't miss our games on television. So Mary, I hope you're watching right now. Happy 92nd birthday. And hopefully the Rangers will bring home a win and make it worthwhile for you to stay home instead of going out to dinner with your family.
So to repeat, the guess was 22. Ends up behind Michael.
Yeah, that wasn't like a fastball that he was trying to serve a purpose with. That was a sidearm curveball. I don't know how many times I've seen that before, where a lefty to a righty or vice versa throws a curveball behind the hitter, especially a guy with really good control.
And then next pitch gets a tapper right back to him. If you're going to guess an age, 22 is an excellent guess, and maybe just stick with that for a few years. That's some good advice.
Also, we have some newlyweds in the house tonight. Craig Couch and his new wife Brooke are in the stands tonight. So congratulations to Craig and Brooke. Hope you enjoy the ball game.
Josh Hamilton worked an 8-pitch walk in the first. That's the hardest thrown ball he's seen. Chen was really slopping the junk up there. Slow curve after slow curve, away, away, away. There goes the bat again. And again, it looked like everybody's okay.
You got a better chance of getting a Josh Hamilton bat tonight than you do a Josh Hamilton foul ball. And that's the area where they go. Boy, be careful. Jump up and try to catch a bat. It's a little different than trying to catch a ball.
This one is sprayed down the left field line and drops in fair. Gordon gets it back in right on top of the bag, holds Josh to a 2-out single. And a 14-game hitting streak. And here's Emily Jones.
Well, guys, you talk about the depth of this lineup and the ability of Ron Washing to give guys days off like he is with Mike Napoli and Ian Kinsler today. He says he's not giving Josh any days off anytime soon because of the groove that he's in. Josh says that is the way he wants it. I said, you do realize he's going to have to give you some days off every now and then. He says, yeah, I know, but just not right now, obviously.
Two outs and a strike to Beltre. Josh, before the game, asked if last week was tiring, accomplishing what he did, or if it was energizing. If it kind of fed to his energy like this. So no, it was tiring, and part of it was the time amount that he had to spend really out of his routine, because baseball players, like no other athletes, are creatures of routine, and with all the media that he's accommodated, it's made for some very long days, but boy, sure aren't showing up in the results, to say the least. 1-2 to Beltre.
The Adrian Shuffle. I like it better when it's inside. All sorts of shifts you see nowadays. The Kansas City shift in the outfield is pretty dramatic. The left fielder and the center fielder are way over toward left field.
Josh going with no throw. He steals second base. On strike three. As Everett's call. Not necessary on the swing and the miss. So that takes care of the Ranger third. Hamilton extending his hitting streak, but is still scoreless. Our Ford game summaries: scoreless through 3 as Scott Feldman has allowed only one hit, an infield hit by Jeff Francoeur. Hamilton just extending his hitting streak. Now at 14. And Eric Hosmer leading off the Kansas City fourth after grounding to second back in the first. Butler next, and then Gordon. Hosmer has searched for his swing, swinging at a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, and well, let that one go. The results, as usually the case when that happens, just get worse. He's 7 for his last 58.
Well, Hosmer's only 22 years old. When he was 21 years old, he had an excellent season. We already talked about that last year. He had 293 with good power numbers. So he can hit. He's just going through a little slump right now. He's battling with it as a young kid.
Another atom ball right at Beltre, the only man on the left side of the infield.
Well, you're just not having any luck. When you go the other way, you get a fastball away. You do a nice job of staying with this pitch. Did everything right. Drove it hard to the opposite field, and you've got one guy in the infield, and it goes right to him. That's just bad luck. And then as a young player, you feel like, oh no, I'm in a slump. It's getting worse. Actually, he just had a great at bat. He's 0 for 1. It doesn't feel very good. But you can't do much better than that on that pitch. Did everything right. Just got to hang in there, as they say.
Strike one to Billy Butler. Grounded into a fielder's choice. You know, one of the great cliches is, oh, those even up. Do hitters ever believe that they even up?
I don't think so. I don't think a hitter ever feels that way. I think you always feel like you hit more balls well that were caught than more balls poorly that fell in for a base hit. So I don't really know exactly what the numbers would show on that one. There's not a statistic for it. But I think logically they probably even out.
But the mind of a hitter says, oh no, I remember this one, this one, this one, this I was robbed, and I don't really remember all those that fell through.
I think when you get the little cheap hits, you take them for granted, like, okay, I had that one coming. And when you really hit a ball well like that and it's caught, it just hurts so bad that it sticks with you. It outweighs the other ones. I'm sure right now that's what Kevin Seitzer, he's the hitting coach, used to be an excellent player for Kansas City, is saying to Hosmer, hey, look, hang in there. That was a good at bat. You keep doing that, good things are going to happen. But when you're a young player and you haven't experienced failure very often, which Hosmer hasn't, tremendous high school player, great success in the minor leagues, immediate success in the big leagues. This is uncharted territory for him. It's not fun, it's not easy, and you worry about it. It's normal.
Almost hit him with the 2-2 pitch. Feldman started ahead of Billy Butler. No balls and 2 strikes. Now about to throw pitch number 55. Balls and strikes have evened up. And gets him swinging.
Oh, good cutter.
First strikeout for Feldman. Let's hear from Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, main attraction here, the concourse third base gate. Big line because they get to take a picture with Josh Hamilton's bat. Fans who come to the game tonight, you see this is the 4-home run bat. 4 home runs he hit against Baltimore last Tuesday. He cracked it last night. Last plate appearance against the Angels, cracked it right there on the handle. Well, fans get to take a picture with the bat tonight because after tonight, it's shipped all the way to Cooperstown for the Baseball Hall of Fame. But what a treat for the fans tonight, right, guys? Yeah, Dave.
Dave, did you get the serial number of that bat? Did you happen to notice what it was?
I didn't.
It was H359. That's the serial number of Josh's bat. Do you catch the significance of that?
He hit 359 in 2010.
Hamilton, H for Hamilton, 359. They made the bat for him. It's his model, special model. Haven't seen that before. Of course, I haven't seen many guys hit 359 either.
We may see it again this year. He's at 406 at the moment. High fly ball out to him. Jogging toward the line. And for Scott Feldman, his second straight 1-2-3 inning. He has retired 8 straight.
The Rangers close their series with the Royals.
Watch it on Fox Sports Southwest.
Our next Bluebell Ice Cream Sunday here at Rangers Ballpark, May 27th, when the Rangers take on the Blue Jays at 2:05. In addition to dollar ice cream, the first 10,000 kids 13 and under will receive a white Nelson Cruz jersey, compliments of Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. And for the rest of the homestand, there are tickets available going fast for the day game on Thursday against Oakland.
And Wednesday night, too, I hear. It's going to be 2 big crowds, so get them while you can.
7:05 tomorrow night for the Royals. Wednesday night for the A's. 1:05 Thursday afternoon. Getaway day. And Cruz takes the first pitch inside, leading off the Ranger fourth. He struck out ending the first. Nelly with his third career grand slam last night. And he tied his career high with 4 hits. High and deep. Is it fair? Yes, sir. Home run. Number 4 for Cruz.
Watch out when Nelly gets hot. Hit a long foul home run the first time up. This time he kept it fair. Tries to get the breaking ball in, and he does. Look where the pitch was. 4 inches inside. And Nelly was able to keep that ball fair. If you keep your hands in, you're able to do that. And he did it just barely. Hooked right around the foul pole. Not a pitch you expect to give up a home run on. The Rangers have hitters that aren't ordinary. You can see him keep his hands in so that the angle of the bat when it hits the ball is such that the ball does stay fair.
all the way to the second deck out there. And the bench loved it. Ian Kinsler almost got hurt.
The way Napoli's acted, he must have had a bet on that.
Well, he almost hyperextended Ian's elbow, so nice that he finally backed off.
Yeah, Ian's got a better chance of getting hurt on the bench than he does playing.
Toriyama, who lined to Moustakas first time up, bounces to him here. Well, Tom, as you mentioned earlier, we've been saying for a long time, when that timing comes around for Cruz, it's going to be something to watch, and it has come around, and it really is fun to watch his at-bats now that he seems to have figured some stuff out.
Well, the Rangers have a number of players on the team that when they get hot can go off for a week, 10 days, or 2 weeks and just carry a team. And obviously we've seen Josh do that. Nelly's been helping him out. He's another one. Beltre can do it. Michael Young, Napoli, all sorts of guys in the lineup that can do that. That's why they've scored almost 20 runs more than any other team.
That one is well hit, but hooking foul. And didn't he just take a kind of a page from Josh's playbook by hitting that inside pitch the way you described it?
Exactly. From a right-hand hitter's perspective, that's exactly right. Now the difference there is Brandon attempted to do the same thing, but the angle of the bat just caused that ball to go foul. Nelly kept his hands in, kept the angle of the bat such that when it hit the ball, it went straight, didn't hook foul. No one does it better than Josh.
Went 416 feet.
The other guy that could do that in incredible fashion was Vladimir Guerrero. He did it on some pitches that almost hit him.
And strike three. Let's check in with Emily.
Well, guys, you talk about Nelson Cruz, and he's been pretty hot of late. He said, though, actually the feeling good goes back a few weeks. Although he didn't see the results, he said he did have that feeling he was getting into a groove.
I've been counting the last few weeks, and I'm feeling good at the plate. You know, results aren't coming, but it's about feeling. You know, when you feeling that your bats are good, that you battle. I mean, you see the right pitch to hit. Sometimes you're square, but it's always what you want to feel. You know, the situations. I mean, you want to see results, but also you want to feel good.
Safe to say he is feeling it now and seeing the results. The solo shot puts the Rangers on top 1-0. We come back with the fifth when we return.
Kansas State, Texas Tech. It's Big 12 baseball on Fox Sports Southwest.
Time for our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Name the only two MLB players to have 40-plus doubles, 20-plus homers, and 20-plus stolen bases last season. One of them's here. Fifth inning, Jeff Francoeur, Mike Moustakas, and Brian Pena. And Mark McLemore, welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
What do you make of the renaissance of yet another Ranger who's right now impossible to pitch to, Nelson Cruz?
I love it. Nelson, he looks like he's got his timing now. I know you saw it earlier, you know, all of April. He just looked like he was not where he needed to be and missing pitches that he normally does what he just did that last inning and last night with. And he'd foul them off, roll over him, or just completely miss them. But right now, I think he's got that timing, and I think he's found his boomstick.
The boomstick is not anymore just a $26 hot dog.
You know, Mac, there's not a lot of hitters. We've seen Josh do it several times in his streak, and Nelly just did it. That can hit a pitch that is 4 or 5 inches inside. It wasn't even nearly a strike. And keep from pulling it foul and keeping it fair like that. That's real art for a hitter to be able to do that, isn't it?
That is an art that I never mastered.
I didn't either.
But yeah, it's tough. I mean, you've got to keep your hands inside and get through the ball to keep it fair and keep it from hooking down the line. His last at bat, he hooked one up in the stands here, and it was almost the same pitch. But that's a very difficult thing to do.
2-2 to Francoeur, the last Royal to reach, the only one with a base hit so far off Scott Feldman, and that was an infield hit on a terrific kick in the hole and jump throw by Elvis Andrus. Threw a strike across the diamond to Young, just a hair late. And the curve a little high, 3-2.
Yeah, it's one of those borderline pitches, but you won't see that pitch called very often, even though it technically touched the top of the strike zone.
Here's again our AT&T Uverse reverse replay, what we're talking about here.
The pitch is going to be about 4 inches inside. And it's tough to tell at regular speed exactly what he did, but Mac described it, how you keep your hands in, drive through the ball, and you can, with that kind of a swing, you can keep it fair.
Francoeur with both Kansas City hits, and the first one that reaches the outfield.
We'll show it a little more in slow motion. Watch where his hands come, right toward his belt.
See the catcher setting up on the inside corner already, and he's having to reach in. So that ball is a good 6 inches inside off the plate, and man, he's still got the fat part of the bat to it.
Yep. And his wrists are almost even with his belt buckle when he made contact with that ball.
So here's Moustakas. Fly it out to Gentry. And pops this one on the left side to Beltran for the first out.
Well, Scott in his spot start against the Yankees went 3 1/3 through 62 pitches. He's into the 5th inning now. Hasn't thrown his 70th pitch yet. Giving Ron Washington exactly what he's hoping for. If he can keep it under 80 or 83 or 4 pitches and get through 6 innings, boy, that'd be a great spot start.
Scott had the longest scoreless outing of his career against Kansas City. Up there on July 24, 2009, 8 innings. Game he won 2-0 over that year's Cy Young Award winner Zach Greinke. And so far, similar results. Brian Pena fly to Hamilton his first trip.
Well, this is what makes this Rangers team so good. They're deep. You know, a lot of teams would love to have 6 starters, 1 guy down in the bullpen that's a long man. But the Rangers have 2 of those guys. You've got Alexei Gondo down there who can go out and spot start as well. So to have 7 starters on your staff, it's incredible the depth that this Ranger club has.
Yeah, a lot of teams would like to have Scott Feldman in their rotation. Won 17 games a couple of years ago.
Right.
They'd love to have him. And not many teams, you're right, can take an all-star starting pitcher and turn him into a setup reliever. Then take their closer and make him a starter. A lot of shuffling going around in the Ranger rotation, but it's because they have so much talent.
And Scott couldn't get into a game. He had thrown 1 inning in the last 12 days before tonight. And called on as needed and performing in terrific fashion so far as Gonzalez took a look toward second base. Not hit hard enough. So Pena the out. He advances Francoeur with 2 outs. Chris Getz will be the hitter.
I think one of the hardest things for a manager is to get your long man, especially when you've got a good rotation, enough work. Because you don't want to give your long man too much work in any one day, because you might need him the next day or the day after. So you can't let him go out and throw 50 or 60 pitches to stay sharp. You try to give him an inning here and an inning there, but basically you want him available at any given time for an injury or a lackluster performance. So it's hard for him to get regular work.
And guys, isn't it also the case with Joe Nathan right now? I mean, a team's either going great or terrible when they can't get their closer into a game. And Joe Nathan's not had many opportunities for saves in the last several weeks.
Well, I think for the Rangers, it's a good thing because they've been winning these ball games, and that means they just haven't been that close. And talking about what you were talking about, Feldman. I mean, it's great to not have your long man go out there because that means your starters are going into the 6th and 7th inning and you don't really need them.
Yep.
So it's tough for Scotty to really get some time, some consistent time in the game, but that's really what you want out of that long man.
Good sinker. Caught the strike zone. Yeah, very few long men 35 games into the season will have 2 starts under their belt to help stay sharp.
Beltre to his left and pulls Young off the bag. And with 2 outs now, the inning remains alive with runners on the corners.
Well, you can count on one hand the amount of times you'll see that this year. That's about as rare as it gets. Nice pickup. And plenty of time to make the throw. He just pulled him off the bag.
Second error of the season for Beltre. And it brings up the number 9 hitter, Alcides Escobar, who hit it hard his first time up, lined out to center. And as we mentioned, last 8 games, he's a .370 hitter. 3 hits yesterday. So let's see if Feldman can pick up his teammate here, get the 3rd out. I've read that there is some consideration to make that move an automatic balk next year. Would baseball be missing much if we didn't see the fake to third, look to first?
Well, I think it works maybe once or twice a year, and it's I don't mind it actually.
I don't either.
Fans hate it. Fans boo every single time. Unless it's your guy.
Fans boo the visiting team no matter what happens. If the catcher goes out to talk to the pitcher, they boo.
Right.
But I think I agree with you, Mac. I think for the once or twice that you see it work in a season, it's worth it. What's the harm in it?
Right.
You know, it's not like it's causing the games to be longer.
I mean, you get a lot of base runners that get on base that aren't great base runners, and they may just fall asleep being at first base.
Runner goes, and Getz is in there with a stolen base, and now they have 2 in scoring position. Sixth, being caught only once so far this year for Chris Getz.
Robbie Ross is warming up down in the bullpen. Scott's at 76 pitches, so I'm sure this will probably be his last batter, definitely his last inning. Dyson's a left-hand hitter. He is the next hitter. And this is about all you could expect out of a spot starter, who, as you mentioned, David, only pitched once in 12 days, right around 80 pitches in 5 innings. And if Scott can get Escobar right here, it'll be 5 innings and a chance to get a win. He's got to get Escobar. Got to get 5 innings under his belt. Definitely has to have a lead.
Drops in the curve, 1 and 2.
Not exactly where he wanted it. A little high in the zone there. He wants to keep that ball down and get a nice ground ball here.
Two starts last year for Feldman, and he pitched well. 1-1, 3.27 ERA. 3-2. Pitched very well tonight. Will he get enough innings in to qualify for a victory?
Well, you can get an out right here on the 80th pitch. You're making a nice round number. 5 innings, 80 pitches, and 1-0. Scott's thinking, what does he want to throw right here? Where does he want to throw it? Get that last hitter.
Got to go with his out pitch. There it is.
Oh, he fouled off a good cutter, it looked like.
Whatever it is, just don't make it straight.
the cutter and sinker working. Well, that's what got him 17 wins a couple of years back. So he can throw some good ones tonight. Does he have one more inning? Into center field, coming on strong, Gentry, but he one-hops it, and the Royals tie the game. And take the lead on the run by Getz as Gentry gave it the full-on effort and almost plucked that one off the ground.
That was a great try by Gentry. It's not a bad pitch by Scott. It's a sinker down and away. Escobar just gets the end of the bat on the ball. If he got the good part of the bat on the ball, might have carried a little farther, but as it was, it's a great try by Gentry. But the error proves to be costly. It cost Scott a chance to get a win.
How close he came. He tried to sell it.
Very tough play there, coming in there on a line drive like that. If that ball kicks up and gets by him, it's at least a triple.
So on comes Robbie Ross as the Royals take a 2-1 lead. Dr. Pepper brings you fantastic savings for Rangers home games in May. Upper level tickets for only $10 or Lexus Club Terrace tickets for $15. Bring any Dr. Pepper can to Rangers ballpark or enter Dr. Pepper as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. So in comes Robbie Ross with Escobar at first after his 2-out 2-run single gives Kansas City the lead. And here's Dyson, who was the only walk in Scott Feldman's 4 2/3 innings, and that was leading off the game. Last time up, fly to center. Scott Feldman 1 strike away from completing 5 innings through 81 pitches, 44 for strikes, allowed only 3 hits. 2 of them, though, came here in the 5th. And the costly error, as it turned out. Struck out 1. And now on for the 13th time is the rookie from Kentucky. Has allowed 1 hit over 7 scoreless innings at home. And has held lefties to a .211 average, 4 for 19 against Robbie Ross. Nothing on. Escobar is tied for 3rd in the league, 7 steals, thrown out only once. Dyson thought about that one, let it go. 2-2. So Ross got ahead now. Dyson runs the count full. Eric Hosmer would be next. Hosmer 0 for 2, but with a line drive smash for an out last time up. There's a called strike 3. But the Royals take the lead. 2 runs after the error by Beltre. 2 base hits. Gentry to lead off the Ranger fifth.
What's a pirate?
It's a mean guy that steals people's boats.
What's a Mariner?
Oh, it's a big, scary monster. It scares little kids.
What's a Rory Owl?
Oh, yeah, those are little slimy worm things that sting people's toes.
Ew. So all the teams are named after evildoers, except the Rangers.
Yeah, we're the good guys.
What's an angel?
Oops.
June 15th, enjoy a post-game fireworks show set to music from the 80s.
Time to answer our AT&T trivia question. Only 2 players to have 40 or more doubles, 20 or more homers and steals last season. One is here, Jeff Francoeur, and the other, the Red Sox, Jacoby Ellsbury. And the Rangers now will try to come from 2-1 behind, as it'll be Gentry, Anderson, Young in the 5th against Bruce Chen. Rangers have a hit per inning off Chen, scoring only on the leadoff home run by Cruz in the second deck down the left field line last inning. Gentry, first time up, lined out to Escobar. Bruce Chen has hung around now, 34, about to turn 35, and no doubt times it looked like his career had to have been on its last legs, but he's turned into very nice years in a row. Their top winner the last 2 years.
Well, left-handers, if they figure out how to pitch once they lose their velocity, they tend to stay around for an awfully long time. You can ask Jamie Moyer about that. Darren Oliver, another instance, learning how to pitch once that velocity is no longer there. That's really the secret, not just be a thrower, but to become a pitcher.
Gets Gentry looking, 4th strikeout. And let's go back to our Fox Sports Southwest studio for a Mazda CX-5 game break. Here's Rick Reynolds.
Yankees in Baltimore, bottom 5, game tied at 3 when J.J. Hardy hits his 9th of the year. It's a 2-run shot. The Yankees answered. It's 5-5 in the 6th. Curtis Granderson has gone deep for the Yankees. Back to Dave and Tom.
All right, Rick, back to the top of the order, which tonight is Elvis Andrus. Ian Kinsler has the night off. Elvis has twice flied to center. Bruce Chen, first year with the Royals in 09, went 1-6 with an ERA of 5.78. Injured in 08, didn't pitch. 5 outings the previous year here with the Rangers, no record but a 7.20 ERA. Year before that in Baltimore, 0-7, a 6.93 ERA. Taken on one knee and one hop by Hosmer. Elvis 0 for 3.
I was talking about Bruce Chen learning how to pitch, and this first pitch to Elvis is exactly what I'm talking about. He drops down and throws a little bit 3/4 just to give Elvis a different look. This is his third time through the order, so he wants to try and give him a little bit different look, and that's what I mean by learning how to pitch. He drops down, comes a little sidearm actually a little bit there, and just to give that different look to change things up a little bit.
And the curve to Young, stroked into left field for a base hit. Michaels first. Now 1 for 3. And he gets Josh Hamilton a chance with the tying run aboard.
Chen has to throw a little bit of everything. He's got a pretty good curveball, slow curveball, somewhere around 70 miles an hour. But it breaks pretty sharply. It's a pretty good pitch for him. He's throwing a number of them to Josh. What he doesn't want to do is hang one of those to Josh. If he keeps it down and out of the strike zone, he's all right. But
hasn't retired him yet. A walk and a single. And let's look at slugging percentage. Highest ever through 35 team games since 1921. You got Jimmy Fox in 1932. Mantle in 56, Mays in 64, Hamilton in 2012.
Well, C.J. Wilson was pitching the second time he pitched. He'd thrown Josh some breaking balls, good ones, and then hung one, and Josh hit a home run to tie the game at 2-2. Chen has to be careful he doesn't do the same thing.
That will reach the seats. Another tie-in for Josh with Jimmy Fox. Josh, the first player since Fox's 1932 season to hit 400 with 40 or more RBIs in the players' first 31 games. Every day there's new historical tie-ins for Hamilton. This one he rolls right to Getz. And that takes care of the Ranger fifth. No runs on a hit and a man left. That takes care of Mark McLemore until Rangers Live postgame. We'll look forward to that.
See you guys.
We'll try to get you win, Mac. Try to come back for you.
Back at the ballpark in Arlington, we head to the 6th inning. Rangers trail the Royals 2-1. And also, Dave and Tom, you know, Rangers are so popular nowadays, they're even making puppets after the team. Of course, Ron Washington, puppet right here. Court, you made this Ron Washington puppet. How long did it take you?
Oh, about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And you also have some of his antics down like they're scoring runs. Look at him go. Very nice. He's scoring runs. We need a few of those. Keep them going. Keep Ron going. Very good. Very nice. All right. Thanks, Court. Looks exactly like Ron. Nice puppet of Wash right there. There we go. Thanks, man.
And Eric Hosmer leads off the 6th inning. He's grounded to second, line to third. Now 7 for his last 59. And in a lefty-lefty matchup.
Well, it's a good team to use a left-handed reliever against. Kansas City has 5 left-hand hitters in their lineup today. But you got to throw them strikes. Dyson, Hosmer, Gordon, Moustakas, Getz, all left-hand hitters.
.3-0 pitch just finds the outside edge. This is out of play. Hosmer in lefty-lefty matchups hitting .139. No homers, 3 runs batted in. And again out of play, 3-2. Butler next, then Gordon. Right at Andrus on the right side of the bag in the shift.
Well, Hosmer's had 3 at-bats today. He hit a ground ball to second that was in the hole, but Gonzalez threw him out, shifted way over toward first. Now he's got a ground ball up the middle into the shift, and his other ball was a line shot right at Beltre, trying to go against the shift, hit it right to him. So, you know, he's hit 3 balls today, okay, that without a shift he might have had 3 hits. So the Ranger defensive alignment has definitely paid dividends against Hosmer. It's cost him 3 hits.
Billy Butler 0 for 2. The only Feldman strikeout last time up, and he grounds a base hit right up the middle. Just hitting a little bit better luck.
Outfielder Alex Gordon.
Yeah, Hosmer hit his ball harder. Unfortunately for Hosmer, there was someone there waiting for it.
What he wouldn't give for a result like that one finally. So 1-on-1 out. Here's Gordon, who has flied to left twice. For Feldman tonight, 4 2/3 innings, 2 runs, both unearned on 3 hits, a strikeout, a walk. Lasted for 81 pitches. And would have lasted 5 innings if not for the error on Beltre, what would have been the 3rd out of the 5th. In there, the count even for Alex Gordon.
Gordon hit 300 last year, hit 45 doubles, and hit 23 home runs. After a little bit of a slower start this year.
Backhand pick, Gonzalez to Andrews to Young. First double play. 6-3. And that takes care of the Royals' 6th inning.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Rangers Baseball LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rangers Baseball LLC.
It is time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $500 and dinner for two at a Sonic drive-in. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Dolores Hill from Aurora. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Dolores Hill will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Some big bats this inning, beginning with Beltre, who has singled and struck out in his first 2 trips. Bruce Chen throwing first pitch strikes. 14 of his first 21 batters faced, not here with the high curve.
Chen's done an excellent job so far, mixing up his pitches. Good location, in, out, up, down. All sorts of different speeds, different arm angles. He's pitching well against the best offensive team in the league.
Chen at 82 pitches, 53 for strikes. 4 strikeouts, only 1 walk. That was Hamilton back in the first. And 5 base hits. 1 in each of the first 5 innings. The Cruz homer leading off the 4th. Got the Rangers an early lead. Cruz on deck. And it'll be Torrealba. Somehow making any kind of contact with that pitch. Just off his toes. Wood's tapped to Getz, who hadn't played just right. Voting is now open for the 2012 MLB All-Star Game, which is in Kansas City this year. Vote early and often at TexasRangers.com and send your favorite Rangers to this year's All-Star Game along with manager Ron Washington. You'll even receive a special ticket offer when you cast your 25 ballots by June 28th at TexasRangers.com. Again will be there as the skipper. Here's Cruz, who hit a 2-0 pitch, 416 feet. Wrapped it around the top of the left field foul pole. Hammers this one into the corner, but foul. Home run ever to hit the club level out at left field. The second time for Cruz to reach it. He did it back on April 8th, 2009. Yesterday, Mark Trumbo getting one up there and hitting the facing club section Saturday. In there for call strike and 1 and 2. 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, 2 left for Kansas City. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error, 5 left for the Rangers. And strikeout number 5 for Chen. Second time he gets Nelly.
He throws you slow stuff. And then sneaks the fastball. Not where he's trying to throw it. He's trying to throw it down in a way. He throws it up in a way. But he got the strikeout with it.
So 1 gone. Here's Torrealba, who was lined to third and grounded to third. Only in the first did the Rangers have more than 1 base runner. That was with 2 outs. Hamilton walked, Beltre single, but then the Cruz strikeout. It's the team the Rangers have dominated like no other in the American League since 2005, with a record of 38-19 against Kansas City. And Yost's team of late, though, showing some signs of coming around. Won 4 of their last 5, 10 of their last 16. They weathered a 12-game losing streak right out of the gate, but only 4.5 back in the Central Division. That so far is surprisingly competitive, really. Tigers have yet to take off. Overwhelming favorites in the beginning of the year. But the Detroit just at 500 and trailing the first place Indians, who are just 2 games above 500. So good week, and Royals are right there. Detroit leading the White Sox, bottom of the 6th, 5-4 in Chicago. Chopped on the left side, this time to the shortstop, and Escobar is there to complete a 1-2-3 inning. First one of those tonight for Jim.
Get the inside track on the Rangers. Every week, Rangers Insider has you covered.
Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Drive the 2012 F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Jack in the Box. Right now, you can try Jack's value deal for just $3.49 plus tax. Seventh inning, with the Royals leading the first of this 2-game series, 2-1. And it'll be Francoeur, played a big part in their 2-run 5th, leading off Robbie Ross's second inning after getting the final out of that 5th in relief of Scott Feldman. Francoeur had 2 of the 3 hits allowed by Scott.
Oh, double play helped Robbie keep his pitch count down, helped him come out for another inning. He essentially is the long man today for Scott Feldman, the normal long man who got the spot start. So far, so good for the amount of pitchers that Ron is needing.
Not a bad looking pitch there, but ball 3. Francoeur has now led off 3 innings. Infield hit in the 2nd. Solid single in the 5th. And another close miss. So he has now reached all 3 times, leading off. Well, after some of the most thrilling semifinal matches in history, Fox Sports is proud to bring you exclusive live coverage of the UEFA Champions League final, as Bayern Munich becomes the first team since 1984 to play the final in their home stadium, as they take on Drogba and Chelsea, with both teams looking to complete their improbable championship run. The UEFA Champions League final live Saturday, May 19th at 1 Central, only on Fox. Mike Moustakas has fly to center and popped to third. Yet to reach base, which he has done the last 20 games.
I'd forgotten that Tom Robson is Mike Moustakas' uncle. Tom Robson used to play for the Rangers. He's also batting coach here under Bobby Valentine. Went to the Mets as Bobby's hitting coach, and also to Japan with him as his hitting coach. I'm not sure how much Mike had a chance to work with Robbie, but if he did, explains why he grew up to be such a good high school hitter.
He was that. Out of Chatsworth High School, California High School Player of the Year, Mr. Baseball. Sophomore Player of the Year, Junior also Player of the Year. Right through Ross's legs. And Francoeur heads to third, and he is in there.
Good base running by Francoeur. He never slowed down. It's not an easy play, but it's one of those plays. If the pitcher's able to catch that ball, it's a simple double play. It's a hard hit ball, and it goes by most pitchers, but it goes right through Robbie's legs. If he's able to get the glove on it and knock it down, he gets an out. If he catches it, he's got a double play.
Instead, he's got Francoeur at third. And a real challenge here, trying to keep this a one-run game. Nobody out there on the corners for Brian Pena, who has flied to left and grounded to second. And there's the first pitch in there for a strike. Broke his bat. Andrus, Gonzalez Young for the double play, but Francoeur comes home on it. And it's 3-1 Kansas City.
Yeah, at this stage of the game with a Ranger offense, you have to play it that way. Try to get the double play even if you give up a run. You can't play the infield in, then you just run the risk of a little blooper or a ground ball turning it into a big inning. So Robbie gets the ground ball. Erases the base runner at first, but the leadoff walk, Jeff Francoeur, comes around to score on it.
And strike one to Chris Getz. First time up, lined out to Beltre. In the fifth, he hit a ground ball that Adrian flagged down and then threw away to first, pulled Young off the bag. Getz then stole second. All this with 2 outs, and then Escobar followed with the go-ahead 2-run single. Down on 3 pitches. Second strikeout for Robbie Ross. Royals get another run. Stretch time at the ballpark, 3-1 Kansas City.
How do you hit a home run?
Well, you have to watch the ball come into the good spot, swing hard, and hopefully it goes over the fence.
Oh, I usually just hope the ball was through the right fielder's legs.
That works too.
1-0 pitch to Adrian, swung on, long drive, way back. That ball is history. A towering home run for Adrian Beltre.
Wednesday is Dollar Hot Dog Night. Eat all the hot dogs you like for just $1 each.
Look at our Rangers in-game box score, and that amounts to some scattered base hits for Bruce Chen. And counting the Cruz home run, he has only allowed 2 Rangers to second base. That was in the first inning after the 2-out walk to Hamilton when Beltre singled and he struck out Cruz. And now Chen in the bottom of the 7th has the bottom of the order. Snyder, Gonzalez, and Gentry duo.
It really has been a baffling assortment of pitches by Chen tonight. Not a whole lot in the way of good pitches to hit tonight. Definitely don't see the same thing twice.
4 scattered singles and the 1 long ball.
Been able to get the cutter in on the right-hand hitter's fists very well. Throwing some slow curveballs, change-ups, sneaky fastballs.
Trying to beat the Rangers for the first time in almost 7 years. August 5th, 2005, he won a game 10-5 here. They have Kelvin Herrera now warming up as Chen's about to throw pitch number 98. Mike Adams warming up in the Ranger bullpen. Chen's career ERA, 8 games, 4 starts against the Rangers was 10.58 coming in, a record of 1-2. And he gets Snyder swinging, strikeout number 6.
There's a high fastball. It's a very effective assortment of pitches. Off speed to get ahead. And that's his second time he's thrown the ball about 2 feet away from his intended target and gotten the strikeout. That was supposed to be down and away. It was up and in. Strikeout to Nelly Cruz, supposed to be down and away. It was up and away, but both times he got the hitters to swing at it.
Strike 1 to Alberto Gonzalez. He has one of the 5 Ranger hits. It was an infield single in the second last time he fouled out. And that one fouled off his leg. It's 0-2. Chen pitched here once last year in April. Lasted only 4 1/3. Gave up 3 homers among 7 hits and 6 runs in an 8-7 loss. Rangers have seen him at his best tonight. But Chen they have not often seen. And Gonzalez goes way above the zone. He has struck out 3 of the last 4 batters he's faced. So our matchup brought to you by Chevron for the second and final game of this series tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest. It will be Vin Mazzero, just named earlier today by Ned Yost. Just brought him up from Omaha. It'll be Colby Lewis for the Rangers.
I think one of the problems tonight for the Rangers facing Chen, if I had to guess, it looks very hittable. He's not throwing very hard. And it's hard to lay off the borderline pitches. Most of those high strikes that the hitters are swinging at are a little bit out of the strike zone. Consequently, they're tough to hit. And I think the hitter goes up there thinking like they're going to be good pitches to hit until they swing at them. Been hard to lay off of those pitches slightly out of the strike zone tonight. Nice job by Chen. You have to give him credit.
Pitched very well last time out Wednesday. Beat Boston 4-3. 6 2/3 innings.
That's the one you gotta have to lay off of.
Pena out for a word. Chen was their opening day starter for the first time. And pitched very well. 6 shutout innings in Anaheim. 3-hit ball. They left a scoreless game that the Royals ended up losing 5-0. Last 2 years, their top winner, 12 wins, 2010 and again last season. 1-4 coming into this game. A 4-pitch, 2-out walk to the number 9 hitter, Craig Gentry.
That might be it for him. And even Snyder and Gonzalez, he struck them both out, but he threw pitches out of the strike zone, and then he didn't come close to Gentry. And generally, when you're up like that, it's a pretty good indication that he's getting tired.
And Ned Yost raises the right hand and looks toward the bullpen. And no doubt is just thank Bruce Chen for a job very well done. He goes 6 2/3 innings. A 5-hit ball, and he turns a 3-1 lead over to Kelvin Herrera when we come back. To celebrate 40 years of baseball in the Metroplex, Metro PCS and Southwest Airlines are offering a chance to win a trip for 4 to watch your home team play in Los Angeles. Register to win at MetroPCSFlyaway.com. 22-year-old from the Dominican Republic, Kelvin Herrera, has been pitching some lights-out baseball of late.
Well, he's got a good arm. A little bit prone to the home run ball, though. He's given up 4 home runs in 18 innings. Been tough to hit. Gets his share of strikeouts. But he's prone to the home run against a home run hitting team.
Last 9 appearances, hitters are just 4 for 33 against him. That's 121. He's allowed 2 runs in the 9 2/3 innings over that span, and he's got Andrews here overdue for a hit.
You see the velocity that he has at 98 miles an hour.
Here is the lefty, Jose Mijares.
He'll be in if Josh gets up this inning.
No balls and 2 strikes. Elvis has flied to Dyson at center twice, grounded to first. 31 game streak of reaching base. His longest ever, longest in the AL this year, has not been extended yet. This chopper will go foul behind Dave Anderson. Start of the day, the 6th leading batter in the league at 328. Over his last 28 games, only his teammate Josh Hamilton and Derek Jeter have been hotter hitters in the American League. Elvis has been at 372 for right at about a month.
A few pitches we've seen at 100 miles an hour this year.
Ferrera worked his way through 4 different levels in their system last year. Slow roller could be trouble. Moustakas throws on the run and throws it off the wall. And around to third base goes Gentry. And the Rangers have the tying runs aboard with 2 outs for Michael Young.
It's definitely an error that allows Gentry to go to third. It could be an infield hit depending on how the scorekeeper sees it.
Really the worst throw for a first baseman. Reaches right into the path of the runner. Just hopes not to get a broken hand or a wrist. It is an infield hit. It is an E5 on Moustakas. So the streak continues for Andrus. More important, the inning continues. And there's ball 1 to Michael, who singled his last time up. He reaches, then it's Hamilton time. Foul and back out of play. 1-1 at 99 miles an hour. Royals bullpen has a whole pack of guys like these, all coming in throwing at least mid-90s. A pitch inside and into the seats with Elvis going.
Kansas City again with an extreme shift in the outfield. We saw it earlier in left field. Now it's in right field. Francoeur near the right field line. Center fielder Dyson way over right center field. And a ball straight away center field and almost split the gap.
Grounded and rolling foul. Elvis again running on the pitch.
Well, you could see Pena jump out to try to keep that ball foul. If it stayed fair, Michael had barely gotten out of the batter's box. Generally on this ball, the catcher, Michael, kind of gets turned around at the plate, but he sees it's going to be foul anyway. Balls don't come back to the right when they go down the foul line here. See it kind of veering off to the left. Pena just made sure it stayed foul.
Oakland has an early lead on Dan Heron and the Angels. Rangers at or near the top of just about every offensive category, and this is really impressive. 324 runners in scoring position. But Herrera strikes out Michael Young, strikes out Snyder and Gonzalez before him. And the Rangers lead 2. We go to the 8th. Still a 2-run ball game.
And it just keeps getting better.
That is hit deep to left field. He's done it again. 3 home runs in as many games for Ian Kinsler.
See the Rangers and Diamondbacks June 12th through 14th.
Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game came with 2 on and 2 outs in the 5th inning. A single almost turning into a spectacular Craig Gentry catch, but it off the bat of Escobar drove in Francoeur and Getz and got Kansas City a 2-1 lead. We got a run in the 7th off a leadoff walk by Robbie Ross. And Mike Adams comes on after Ross goes 2 1/3.
Yeah, Robbie got hurt in the 7th inning with a leadoff walk to Francoeur. He threw the ball well, got a couple of double plays. 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Ended up pitching 2 1/3, gave up a run. Scott went 4 2/3, didn't give up an earned run. Mike comes on to pitch the 8th inning.
Mike with the ERA of 2.13. Scored on only 3 of his 14 appearances. 2 walks Thursday in game 2 in Baltimore. First 2 walks of the year. First 2 walk appearance since last July 17th. 46 game span. Escobar, first time up line to center. He'll be followed by Dyson and Hosmer at the top of the order. Oakland's jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the first on Dan Herrera, top of the first home run at Anaheim by Josh Reddick, his 9th of the year.
Turned out to be a good trade. A's picked up Reddick and some more for Andrew Bailey, who's been hurt all year. Reddick didn't look to see much playing time in Boston, but with the injuries they've had, he probably would have won one of their key offensive players. Jacoby Ellsbury's out. Carl Crawford still out. They could have used him.
Big reason the A's are over 500.
Yeah, 2 outfielders are out, and so is Andrew Bailey. They'd be out for the whole year.
That is a called strike. Turned Escobar around, but Mike Everett raises the right hand.
Borderline pitch, but it was a strike.
Oakland 5 back of the Rangers beginning play today. High pop up into shallow right. Gonzalez will let Cruz come in and make the catch. Time again to hear from Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, real quick time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be these 2 guys. They've been all game long going nuts, known as the what? The Redhead Ranger Redneck! We're going, how many games do you guys get to? We got every one. We haven't missed one. We put the stash on the night open. We become the fan of the game. Very nice. The stash. Yep. Here's the back. Congratulations. Redheaded Ranger Rednecks, progressive fan of the game. Way to go, guys.
Deserving winners.
Hey, they came with a goal. They succeeded. They wanted to be the fan of the game, and they got it. It's the happiest person to be the fan of the game, I think.
1 out. Here's Dyson. A walk in 3 trips and a stolen base. Showing bunt there. In the Ranger 8th, big bats Hamilton, Beltre, and Cruz. Mijares still out there in the Kansas City bullpen. Dyson, a 50th round draft pick out of Southwest Mississippi Junior College, 2006. First 50th round pick to play in an opening day game since the draft was limited to 50 rounds in 1998. Just off the plate, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Lorenzo Cain was scheduled to be the center fielder. He's hurt right now. Terrific looking player. So it's given Dyson a chance to get some at bats, show what he can do.
That's in there, 2-2. Dyson moved up the system as fastest rated base runner the Royals had in the organization until finally reaching the majors. 80% steal rate in the minor leagues. And looks at strike 3 for out number 2.
Tough pitch. That's the cutter that comes back and catches the outside corner. Very difficult pitch to handle.
First baseman Eric Hosmer.
Looks like a ball until it comes back and barely touches the outside corner. How much a hitter can do with that pitch. If that's a strike, it's going to get most hitters.
Adams has his first 2 hitters, and now will face Eric Hosmer.
Jamie
Or will
Reed's
he?
going to come out and check with Mike Adams. Didn't see what was hurting Mike, but to get the trainer out there must be something. Taking some deep breaths. I don't know if he I don't know what. I'll have to just wait and see.
He's thrown 8 pitches, 6 for strikes. Here's Derek Holland. Just in case. Yeah, really can't
see anything unless he's, lightheaded maybe. He was taking some deep breaths on the mound. Whatever it is, he seems to be okay. It didn't look like they checked his hand for a blister, elbow, shoulder, anything like that.
Still breathing very, very hard. Now ready for Hosmer. He's had a hard luck 0 for 3. And he looks at strike 1.
Colby Lewis is scheduled to pitch Tuesday, Darvish Wednesday, Harrison on Thursday. This might be the time when Derek Holland would throw between starts and maybe be able to sneak an inning in if Ron Washington needed him. The doubleheaders cause you to need a spot starter, but it also gives someone a little bit more rest between starts. Did that with Felice earlier in the season, and this was a time where Derek was scheduled to get a little bit of extra rest between starts as they try to monitor the work of all their starters, especially after 2 World Series appearances and all the extra innings that the pitchers got in the postseason. Saw Matt Harrison do that last year and get a relief appearance between starts toward the end of the season. So it's not something the Rangers haven't done before.
Another hard hit ground ball, an Adam ball right at Young. And Adams works a 1-2-3-8. Now Hamilton, Beltre, and Cruz for the Ranger A.
I'm Emily Ruppert and your host of Chevy Hometown Kids. Watch new episodes every Saturday morning at 10 on Fox Sports Southwest and check us out online at hometownkids.tv.
Mr. Ryan, what air conditioning brand do you recommend?
I get asked that a lot. You'll find American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning offers the best reliability and efficiency.
Wow, you sure figured out home comfort systems.
Well, I do know a thing or two about bringing the heat.
Will you sign my thermostat?
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, a higher standard of comfort.
3-1 Royals, bottom of the 8th inning. And Jose Mijares is on out of the bullpen as we look at this dated Rangers history. 1998, Rusty Greer, 6 runs batted in, including the game-winning 2-run homer in the 13th to beat the Yankees 7-5. Anything karma tonight for the Rangers? Well, big bats are up here against the lefty Mijares.
And Mijares has been pretty tough on left-hand hitters. They're 5 for 29 against him with 8 strikeouts. And he's probably in just to face Josh Hamilton.
He pops the first pitch up. Moustakas right on the line. There's a huge pitch. This night wears on. Maybe the last at bat.
All he's going to have is one pitch.
Maybe the last time the Royals will have to deal with Hamilton. So Ned Yost is out. He had Aaron Crow, right-hander, ready. And can't get any more efficient than Jose was. So when we come back, Adrian Beltre and Aaron Crow.
Rangers down by a couple, and that's the back of me in the Captain Morgan Club. John Radigan here with Rangers Live, preparations ongoing even as we speak. It's a complete post-game show. Comes your way immediately following the game. Mark McLemore will join me. We will have lots of analysis and what we hope will be some come-from-behind jubilation from the Rangers clubhouse. Emily Jones works that, and we bring it all to you on Rangers Live immediately following the game. Dave and Tom, back to you guys in the booth.
All right, John, here is Aaron Crow, twice a first-round draft pick by the Nationals in 08, 9th overall. The following year to the Royals, 12th overall.
Yeah, the Nationals couldn't sign him. He played independent league baseball. Couldn't come to terms with the Nationals. Drafted again. 9th pick one year, 12th pick another year.
In between, he was a Fort Worth Cat. And pretty dominant there in 2009. ERA of 106. Ahead of Beltre, 1 and 2. Adrian a single, struck out, and grounded to second. Aaron Crow, an all-star last year, did not get in the game. 2.76 ERA in 57 outings. Backhand pick at short by Escobar. A stretch into foul territory by Hosmer. 2 gone in the Ranger 8.
Right fielder Nelson Cruz.
And here's the man responsible for the only Ranger run coming up now.
Escobar, a very slick fielder. Good hands, strong arm. Mentioned before, he's only 25 years old. One of the building blocks for the Royals of the future. Had the big hit in the game tonight, too. 2-run, 2-out single.
It was 1-0 until that hit in the 5th on the Cruz homer in the 4th. And Nelly behind, no balls, 2 strikes. The other 2 times Chen faced Cruz, he struck him out. 2 of his total of 7, equaling his season high. 2 walks for Chen, that also equaled his season high. In 6 2/3. Since then, Yost mixing the bullpen. Kelvin Herrera for 2 batters. Mijares for 1, now Crow, and he gets the check swing strikeout on Cruz. So the Ranger big bats go in order, and we go to the 9th. Time for our Brown Hand Center great hands of the game. The night for Bruce Chen, covering 6 2/3 innings, 106 pitches, and the 7 strikeouts. Allowing only the Cruz home run. 9th inning. And it is Derek Holland to work to Butler, Gordon, and Francoeur.
It's a good opportunity. Derek's going to have extra days between starts. So it's a good opportunity for him to get a little tune-up, to stay sharp. He gets extra time to work on the side, a little extra time to work in a game. And it also gets Ron Washington an inning tonight when innings are tough to come by. Use Scott Feldman for 4 2/3, Robbie Ross, and then Mike Adams. And he'll be able to save Mark Lowe, Uehara, Ogando, and Nathan for tomorrow. And then hope he can manage the bullpen by the starters pitching deep into the games until Scott gets enough rest to be able to come back as the long man.
He starts Butler with a strike, a fielder's choice, a strikeout and a single for Billy Butler. And a comebacker for a quick first out.
Ron Washington and Mike Maddox talk about learning things the last couple of years. When the season goes an extra month and your starters get anywhere from 15 to 25 extra innings pitched, especially young starters who aren't accustomed to that, after 2 straight years of doing it, you don't know. It's kind of uncharted territory whether it'll take its toll on the young starters or in the next year to come. So one thing that they're doing is they're skipping a start, stretching them out between starts a little bit to manage the innings, so that at the end of the year you don't have to let someone sit out for the last couple of weeks of the season. You manage it along the way and keep them strong throughout the end of September.
Base hit dumped into center field by Gordon, who was 0 for 3 with a double play grounder. And as you saw, the Royals closer Jonathan Broxton, the former Dodger, is up the bullpen. Joaquin Soria lost for the year. Broxton stepping in. And has 7 saves so far. So 1 on with 1 out. And here is Francoeur, who has yet to be retired. Infield single in the 2nd, leadoff single in the 5th. Leadoff walk in the 7th. Jeff, before the game, expressing a lot of optimism about how the Royals have come through a very rough start, which included a 12-game losing streak. But the fact that they're just 4.5 back in the division at 13 and 20 has energized their young clubhouse.
They got some pretty good speed. They're going to have a good offensive team as the year goes on. They've got a really good bullpen. They've got a lot of good arms out in their bullpen. The thing that's going to determine whether or not they approach 500, whether or not they're any kind of a contender, is whether their starting pitching can come through. Duffy just got hurt. Sanchez is hurt. That's 2 of their 5 starters are on the disabled list right now. That doesn't help. They've got some good young starters in the minor leagues. But they're going to have to get the most of what they've got at the big league level right now if they want to have any chance to be competitive this year.
Two balls and a strike.
You need it for a guy like Luke Hochevar to develop and become consistent. He can tune up a really nice game every now and then, but he just hasn't been consistent enough.
Yeah, he's 3 and 3 and a 720 earned run average.
He's had some good games and he's gotten bombed a couple times. Why his ERA is so high, but a lot of potential there.
Lofted out to right center field. Gentry and Cruz. Nelly makes the catch for the 2nd out. Francoeur retired for the only time tonight. Now it'll be Mike Moustakas, who has singled in 3 trips. For Derek, first relief appearance since October 2nd of 2010 against the Angels, as far as the regular season is concerned. chopper. Short hop by Michael Young. Holland gets the game to the bottom of the ninth, allowing one base hit, and it's Torrealba, Snyder, and Gonzalez due up for the Rangers. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Ford dealer and drive the 2012 F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve, and 38,702 being heard as the Rangers need a rally in the bottom of the ninth. Fifth chance this year to get to 12 games over 500. They have yet to make it. Standing in their way is the formidable 6'4", 300-pound right-hander Jonathan Broxton.
He's a big guy, and he's a pretty good closer with the Dodgers for a number of years. Been around for quite a while, but he's only 27 years old. Power pitcher. I think there's probably 2 or 3 guys in the Kansas City bullpen that have better arms than he does, but they're younger. I think Ned Yost in Kansas City likes the idea of having a veteran guy. We used to have Joaquin Soria, but he's hurt right now. And Broxton's been there, has the experience to handle the role, while the younger guys grow into their roles, become accustomed to pitching in the bullpen. A lot of good arms out there.
Yeah, a lot of good bats on the Ranger bench tonight, including Mitch Moreland, who's out in the on-deck circle ready to hit for Snyder. David Murphy as well. Joe Beat holds up on that one.
Tough pitch to lay off of right there. Hard breaking ball. Broxton's got a mid-90s fastball, and you can see the hard slurve, whatever you want to call it. Hard curveball, slider, slurve, something in between. Breaking ball, a lot of names you can call it.
Popped out of play, 2-2. Torrealba has lined to third, grounded to third, and grounded to short tonight, 0 for 3. First action since Friday. Facing Broxton, signed to a 1-year free agent deal. 7 for 8 in his save opportunities. With the Dodgers, he saved as many as 36 in 2009. By far his best year. He also went 7-2 with a 2.61 ERA that year.
Yeah, the blown save was a hit batter with the bases loaded.
Two-two pitch, a called strike 3 on the 96-mile-an-hour heater.
Well, if it's a strike, it's a perfect strike. It's borderline. If you're the hitter, you say it's an inch outside. If you're the pitcher, you say it caught the outside corner. 96 miles an hour with that location. That's a tough assignment for the hitter.
One gone. Here's Moreland. And David Murphy out in the on-deck circle now. The rally caps appearing now around the ballpark. Mitch yesterday 2 for 5, scored twice, drove in a run. He's hit in his last 3 games 4 for 12. Bounces the first pitch he sees to Eric Hosmer. The Rangers down to their last out. And here comes Murphy. Game 1 Thursday in Baltimore. 9th inning, a pinch hit 3-run home run. Rangers' first pinch homer of the year. So Murphy hitting for Gonzalez, who had an infield hit in 3 trips, and now Mike Napoli will be ready to hit for Gentry. Murphy can keep the game going. that's a strike on the corner at the knees. Both teams with 6 hits and 1 error. The difference is the Ranger error led to 2 unearned runs. Charge to Feldman in the 5th. On a throw by Beltre. Oh, and 2. Right where Feldman in a spot start went 4 2/3 innings of 3-hit ball.
Broxton's located his fastball really well in this appearance.
Just does get a piece of the 0-2 fastball. The very end of the bat. Herbert should have an idea of Broxton's intentions. Seven-year-old from Waynesboro, New Jersey. The 0-2 pitch is a base hit to left field, and the Rangers are still alive.
Well, he kept throwing it out there, and just like you said, Dave, wasn't a surprise to David where that pitch was going to be or what it was going to be. But with no balls and 2 strikes, it's not a bad pitch. But you might want it to be even better than that off the plate, to keep David from being able to do that, for bringing the tying run to the plate. Not exactly the pitch Broxton was trying to throw, not the location he was trying to get. Now it gives Mike Napoli a chance to come up and tie the ball game.
Seven home runs, 18 driven in for Mike. For 4, including a double last night, his 3rd 3-hit game. Scored twice, also worked a walk. And 4 for 11 in the Angels series. Takes the first 2. Next would be the hottest hitter in the American League for the month of May.
This cheer sure has caught on.
Shocking if you don't hear it anymore. That would look good to him, and it's 2-1.
They threw him a 2-0 breaking ball. And a good one. Not going to let Mike get a fastball when he's looking for it, at least on that pitch.
Two and two.
Broxton's made some good pitches. There's a curveball that actually does catch the outside corner. Didn't look like it the way the catcher caught it.
Murphy was down to his last strike. He got a base hit. Can Napoli follow suit? Checks his swing, and at first, Paul Schreiber says he did check it. It's 3-2.
Definitely a good call by the umpire at first base, Paul Schreiber.
the first non-sellout since Game 7 back on April 12th. You would never know from the noise level. Cold strike ends the game.
Broxton made a couple of great pitches with his curveball. The 2-0 pitch and this last pitch, the 3-2 pitch. He kept it right down where he wanted to, low in the strike zone, and he got the call.
Mike Everett all night. Pretty favorable strike zone for all the pitchers, and very favorable on the last pitch of the game for Jonathan Broxton, who strikes out 2, leaves Murphy at first, and gets his 8th save of the season as the Royals take game 1 of this 2-game set 3-1. John Radigan, Mark McLemore coming up. Rangers Live is ahead.